You know that feeling when you send a message and then immediately reread it, once, twice, maybe 5 times, wondering if one word sounded strange. Or when a short conversation replays in your head hours later, and suddenly you're analyzing the pause between sentences, the tone, the look on their face. It's never the big disasters that get you first. It's the small things, the tiny shifts, the almost invisible details that most people forget within minutes. And yet for you, they stay. There's a certain kind of person who gets labeled as too sensitive, too intense, or simply overthinking it. The world tends to admire quick decisions and thick skin. It celebrates people who brush things off easily. So when you hesitate over something small, it can feel like a flaw, like you're making life harder than it needs to be. But that interpretation misses something important, because this pattern isn't random, and it isn't weakness. What people call overthinking small things is often a deeply wired form of mental vigilance. And there's more going on here than most people realize. Psychologically, overthinking is closely tied to pattern detection. Your brain is constantly scanning for meaning, for subtle cues, for what might happen next. Research on anxiety and high sensitivity shows that some nervous systems are simply more responsive to ambiguity. A small change in tone doesn't register as neutral, it registers as data. Something to interpret, something that could matter. Neuroscience adds another layer. The amygdala, the part of the brain involved in threat detection, can be more reactive in certain people. That doesn't mean you live in fear. It means your system is quick to notice potential shifts in safety or connection. At the same time, the prefrontal cortex, responsible for reflection and analysis, tries to make sense of that signal. So a tiny social moment becomes a loop. Your brain flags it. Your mind analyzes it. Back and forth. From the outside, it looks like making a big deal out of nothing. From the inside, it feels like trying to solve something that might matter more than it seems. And often, this pattern didn't appear out of nowhere. It develops. If you grew up in an environment where moods changed quickly, where approval felt conditional, or where small mistakes had outsized consequences, your nervous system learned that details matter. It learned that paying attention keeps you prepared, that analyzing keeps you safe. Even in less extreme settings, repeated experiences of embarrassment, rejection, or unpredictability can shape this habit. The brain adapts. It becomes efficient at scanning, at replaying, at anticipating. What looks like overthinking is often a survival strategy that became automatic. And it's important to say this clearly. This way of processing the world isn't better or worse than brushing things off. Some people regulate by moving on quickly. Others regulate by understanding deeply. Neither is morally superior. They're just different nervous systems responding in different ways. There is, however, a paradox here. The same mind that replays a small comment for hours is often the same mind that notices what others miss. You catch subtle shifts in people's energy. You anticipate needs before they're spoken. You think through consequences carefully. You are rarely careless with words, because you know how much they can linger. That depth can create connection, can create insight. It can make you thoughtful in ways that are hard to teach. But there's also a quiet cost. When your mind treats every small variable as meaningful, rest becomes harder. Peace requires deciding that not everything needs analysis. And for a brain trained to look for patterns that can feel unnatural, letting something go can feel like negligence. So you live in this tension between your sharp awareness and your desire for calm. It might help to understand that your brain isn't trying to torture you. It's trying to protect you. It learned somewhere along the way that small things are rarely just small, that details can signal shifts in belonging, safety, or stability. And belonging matters deeply to the human nervous system. Studies on social pain show that the brain processes rejection in ways similar to physical pain. So when you replay a minor interaction, your system may be trying to prevent that sting from happening again. Seen through that lens, your overthinking makes sense. It's not drama. It's protection layered with intelligence. You are not broken for caring about small things. You are not flawed for wanting clarity where others are comfortable with ambiguity. Your experience is a logical extension of a mind that pays attention. Over time, it's possible to teach that mind new patterns, not by shaming it, not by forcing it silent, but by gently showing it that not every detail is a threat, that some pauses are just pauses, some messages are just messages, some moments can pass without being decoded. But even before any change, there is something steady beneath it all, your awareness. The part of you that reflects, that examines, that tries to understand, that part has depth. And depth is not a defect. It's a way of engaging with the world that carries both weight and meaning. If this felt familiar, there may be other patterns in your life that work the same way, habits you once criticized that were actually adaptations, quiet strategies your nervous system built to get you through. And sometimes, just seeing them clearly is the beginning of relating to yourself differently.